Okay, so what we did yesterday is we found the discriminant, and the formula for the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So here your a value is 2, b is 5, c is -4. So we just plug these numbers into this formula. B is 5, a is 2, c is -4. Okay, so 5 squared is 25 minus, bring down this minus sign. Now let's see what these values in this box are equal to. So go ahead and type into your calculator. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times -4 is good, -32. So when there's two negative signs next to each other, this becomes a plus sign. So now I have 25 plus 32, which is what? 57. So my discriminant is 57. Now, if you look at your notes, when the discriminant is positive, that means you have two real solutions. If our answer was 0, then that means you have one real solution. This is from your notes yesterday. And if you get a negative number, like -2, that means you have, I'll just put negative number. Any negative number, that means you have two imaginary solutions, okay? So our answer was positive. So how many solutions do I have and what type? 2 real. So this is the answer to your warm-up. 2 real solutions. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our notes. We're going to use what we learned yesterday to do the quadratic formula. Okay, so this is the quadratic formula. Right here. It goes x equals -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay? And notice, this is what we did yesterday. Let me highlight what should look familiar. This is the discriminant. You just put it underneath the square root symbol. Okay? So b squared minus 4ac is the discriminant. Okay? We just simplified it to the letter d. Okay, so you can use the quadratic formula to solve any type of quadratic equation. It tells you where the x-intercepts are, okay? All right, so let's do the steps. Let's do the very first example. The first equation is, the first equation is 3x squared minus 4x minus 5 equals 0. This is a quadratic equation. Quadratic equations have a squared on them, okay? So this is a quadratic equation. We're going to use the quadratic formula. So step number 1 is to put it in standard form. Is this already in standard form? Perfect. Let's move on to step 2. Step 2 is find the determinant. This is an error. This should say discriminant. Cross that out and write discriminant. This is what we did yesterday. Find the discriminant. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. My a value is 3. The b value is -4. The c value is -5. The formula to find the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. The b value is -4. So for b, I'm going to put a -4 there. The a value is 3. The c value is -5. Negative 4 squared means -4 times -4, which is 16. It's positive. Minus, let's box these numbers and figure out the value. This minus sign stays outside. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times -5 is -60. Now notice I have two negative signs again. That means we're going to put a plus sign. So your answer is 76. That is what the discriminant is. So this is your discriminant. Let's look at step number 3. Plug A, B, and D into the formula. So this is the quadratic formula. X equals -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so we just found b squared minus 4ac. We just found that. So I'm going to erase b squared minus 4ac and put 76. We're also going to plug in a and b into the formula. So the a value we said was 3. So I'm going to put a 3 there. And the b value, erase b, don't erase the minus sign, that's a part of the formula. We're going to erase b and replace it with a -4. So that's step 3, plug everything in. We plugged in our discriminant, we plugged in the a value, we plugged in the b value. Okay, now we're going to simplify. That's the last step. So, notice right here, we have two negatives. What will I write the 4 as? Positive. So this would be x equals 4 plus or minus. We have the square root of 76, and then 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, now let's simplify the square root of 76. I'm going to do that over here. Do it off to the side on your paper. I need two numbers that multiply to 76. If they're too hard to think of, do 2 and another number. So what's half of 76?
38.
Huh?
38.
38, thank you. All right, now let's break down 38. 2 and what number will give me 38? 19? Perfect. And I don't think 19 will break down. So that means we can write this as 2 times 2 times 19. This number, and this number goes under the square root symbol. Here's a pair, cross it out. One of the pairs will go outside. So this can be rewritten as 2 square root of 19. So that means square root of 76, this right here, can be rewritten as 2 square root of 19. Okay, we're almost done simplifying. Do not touch this part right here. That is done. What I want you to pay attention to are these other numbers. Pay attention to the 4, the 2 on the outside, and the 6. What can all of these 3 numbers be divided by? 2. So let's simplify this further. 4 divided by, oh, that's bold. Okay, let's continue simplifying. 4 divided by 2 is what? Okay, so let's write this as 2 plus or minus. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. Okay, so it'll just be square root of 19. If you want to, you can put a 1 there. I'm not going to. Okay, and then the last number we can simplify is the 6. Also divide this by 2, and we get 3. So this is your final answer. Let's do another example. Everything we're learning is building on top of each other. Okay, so the next example on your paper is x squared plus 2x equals 3. Step 1, is this in standard form? No. Everything needs to be on the same side. Move this 3 to this side of the equation. So this will become x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. Now it is in standard form. So we did step 1. Step 2, find the discriminant. Okay, so the discriminant is the formula b squared minus 4ac. Your a value is 1, the b value is 2, and the c value is negative 3. So let's plug those into the discriminant formula. B is 2, a is 1, c is negative 3. Okay, so let's evaluate this. 2 squared is 4 minus, we bring down this minus sign. Now let's box this right here. Let's see what the value in this box is. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. So the value of the numbers in the box is negative 12. Again, we have 2 negatives. That makes a positive. So we're going to add these. 4 plus 12 is 16. So that's my discriminant. That's my discriminant. Okay, so we did that step. We found the discriminant. Now we're going to plug the discriminant, the a value, and the b value into the quadratic formula. This is a quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we just found b squared minus 4ac. We said it was 16. So let's plug that in. B squared minus 4ac, we did that over here. We said it was 16, so put a 16 there. We said that the a value was 1. We said that right over here. A is 1 and the b is 2. So let's replace that into the formula. A is 1. Your b value is 2. So let's replace those things. And then we'll simplify it. What we have is x equals negative 2 plus or minus square root of 16, and then 2 times 1 is 2. What's the square root of 16? 4. Boom, that's it. So guys, let's go ahead and simplify this. X equals, we're going to get 2 answers. Follow my pin. I have negative 2 plus 4. What is that? Negative 2 plus 4. You can also use a calculator. Yep, it's 2. Then divided by 2. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. So that's one of your answers. Let's do the other way. There's a plus or minus symbol, so we're going to have 2 answers. Next, I have negative 2 minus 4. What's negative 2 minus 4? Negative 6 divided by 2 is what? Negative 3. So those are my 2 answers. What this means, guys, we just found the solutions. Another word for solutions is x-intercepts. So that means at 1, you have an x-intercept, and at negative 3, you have an x-intercept. So your graph would look something like that. It crosses the x-axis at those 2 numbers. You found your solutions. Okay? All right, let's do another one. And if you're thinking, well, why didn't we do it for this last problem? Well, you could plug this into your calculator. You're going to get a decimal. It'll be 2 plus whatever the square root of 19 is, divided by 3. It'll give you some decimal. You can plot that on a graph. And then you'll do 2 minus whatever the square root of 19 is when you put in your calculator, divided by 3. You'll plot the other one, okay? It's just that this last example, it was easy to do 2 plus 4. We didn't have a weird square root. Does that make sense? Okay, let's do the next example. This is the last example. You have 6x squared equals 8x minus 8. Okay, step number 1, put it in standard form. Is this in standard form? It's not. So let's move this over. 6x squared can stay the same. We're going to move over 8x, it becomes minus 8x. Move over negative 8, it becomes plus 8. Okay, now it's in standard form. Step 2, find the discriminant. Okay, so we're going to do the formula b squared minus 4ac. The a value is 6. The b value is negative 8. The c value is 8. Okay, so b, we said was negative 8, so I'm going to erase b and put a negative 8 there. Erase a and c, put 6 and 8 there. Six and 8. Okay, so now let's calculate this. Negative 8 squared is 64. It's positive. It's no longer negative. Minus, let's see what this value is equal to. I always like to box it. 4 times 6 is 24. 24 times 8. Can someone tell me what that is? 192. Thank you so much. So the values in this box is 192. Now we're going to subtract. So 64 minus 192, what is that? It'll be negative for sure. Negative 128. Thank you so much. All right. So guys, this is my discriminant. This time we have a negative 1. That means I'm going to have imaginary solutions. Okay? When your discriminant is negative, you're going to have imaginary solutions. Okay, so now let's plug it into the formula. X equals negative b plus or minus square root all over 2a. What goes underneath the square root? Yep, so we just found the discriminant. It's negative 128, so that's what goes under the square root symbol. Negative 128. And I'm going to erase the b value. In the beginning, we said that b was negative 8, right here. So I'm going to plug in a negative 8. So look, there's 2 negatives now. Erase the a value, which is 6. Okay, so let's simplify this. The last problem was easy. We already know what the square root of 16 is. That's just 4. But do we know what the square root of 128 is? No, it's not a perfect square, so we're going to have to do some more work. Okay, so x equals a negative and a negative. This will be a positive 8 over 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, off to the side, let's figure out 128. I'm going to do it over here. Can y'all give me 2 numbers that multiply to 128? 2 and 64. Perfect. 64. Okay, this will be 4 and 2. This can be 2 and 2. Cross out this 8. This can be 4 times 2. Cross out this 4. This can be 2 times 2. Okay, so let's circle this because this is a lot. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to have 7 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 8 square roots of 2. Some people don't get it that way, so I'm just going to do the whole process. Cross that out, put 1 outside. Here's another pair, cross it out, put one outside. Here's another pair, cross it out, put one outside. So on the outside, 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8. On the inside, we just have a 2 left over. So this is what you're going to put, 8 square root of 2. Now, guys, what some people were saying, you can stop here. What's the square root of 64? 8. That's why we have an 8 on the outside. And you just have 1, 2 on the inside. So you could stop here. A lot of people get confused, so I just showed you all of the work. But if you wanted to, take the shortcut and stop right here. The square root of 64 is 8, which is what we got. And then there's another 2 that goes on the inside. Okay? All right, so we have this. Now let's just simplify further. I want you guys to look at the outside numbers only. Do not touch inside of the square root symbol. This 2 will stay the same. I want you to look at the 8, the number on the outside, and the number in the denominator. What can all 3 of these numbers be divided by? 4. You want to pick the biggest number. If you said 2, you're right, but you can do bigger. So 8 divided by 4 is what? 2. Good. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we're going to get x equals 2 plus or minus, divide this 8 by 4. You're going to get 2. And then 12 divided by 4. You're going to get 3. So this is your simplified answer. You must simplify. Okay, so guys, that is the end of our notes. I'm going to let you guys do the practice on the next page. Guys, look. We forgot one thing, one important thing. Our discriminant was negative, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. So what do I need in my answer? An I. Right here, it was a negative 128, so I need an I right here. Whenever your discriminant is negative, you're going to have an I, okay? If your discriminant is negative, you will always have an I. Okay, so make sure you edit this answer. Make sure there's an I right there. Is everyone good? Okay, make that edit, please.